Okay, so we didn't get to talk about through this on class this week, but this is what you're doing this coming week on Monday and Tuesday in class. You're going to be completing the first 7 pages of this worksheet. Okay? By Wednesday, you need to be through page 7. So let's look at what these look like. So you got one. The only thing you have to do here is this bit here at the bottom. There's some other things here on these pages that we're going to talk about here in a little bit to help you get through them. It's important to remember that without good thinking, there is no good writing, which is why the first step of any of the canons of rhetoric is invention, figuring out not only how you're going to say it, but what you're going to say. So all of these 7 pages are about information gathering, fact gathering. There should be citations with just about everything you do in this section here, because then that tells you exactly where you need to go. If you don't have a citation, it's either not actually a fact or you need to go and find it, the fact that supports it. Okay? So with the invention, the Greeks said there were 5 common topics, and a topic just means a place. There's 5 places that you can organize everything by when you're getting information. And they say there are questions that go with these things. And so the first of the 5 common topics is definition. So who are they? What is it? Right? So who is the person you're talking about, you're writing about, define them. A lot of these other things will help with that. Look at the prompt. What are the key terms in the prompt that you need to define? And don't use the dictionary on this. Use your own definitions based on the text. If you take the concept of honor, right, the Greek understanding of honor is a little bit different than honor in the dictionary is going to say. Comparison. Sometimes we see our character or an issue or an event more clearly when we compare it with something else. It's kind of like it. The differences can stand out more clearly. Circumstance. How do the circumstances shape who the character is, what they value, the choices that they make? And we're all gathering information about the person we're writing about. And then relationship and testimony I've lumped together here, but these are the last of the 2 common topics. So who are the most important relationships for the character? And make a web with concentric circles or some other type of drawing thing there that we'll look at here in a second. And then do other characters say anything important about your character? What do they think of him or her? Okay? That can be really important because a character might have a self-understanding of themselves in some way, but other characters might see them very differently. Okay? This here is going to be the last thing you're going to do on these first 7 pages. Okay? So the first thing you're going to do is get down to this page 2, invention worksheet. You're going to write the character you've picked to write about. So remember, look at your prompt, think through who's someone you can write a good paper on that covers the whole book of the Iliad. We've given you some options there. Pick one of those. Okay, so write their name there. Then write down, what are the key epithets that have been used to describe this character? You should probably have at least 2 or 3 here. Then write down the book and line number again. So when it comes time for intake citation and writing, you have all the information right here. What are some key relationships this person has? How do they fit into the social world of the side that they're on? Are they one of the kings? And so they've got these kind of like peer relationships. If you're doing Agamemnon, definitely note that Menelaus is his brother. He's the king of this whole group, kind of. Those types of things are important. And how do we know those things to be true? Book and line number. And then what are a couple of the most important passages? I would say 2 to 3 most important passages involving your character. If you have more, that's great, but 2 to 3 is a bare minimum number. And you don't need to write the whole passage out, but just kind of summarize what's going on in this passage. So if you're writing about Paris, let's say, Paris and Menelaus fight, Paris is defeated, but he flees back to Helen, or something like that. Book 3 lines, whatever to whatever. 1 to 300 would be a big range, but it's in that period. So something like that is what you're wanting to do here. Now, after you complete your work on your characters, type of thing, you move into character and comparison. So here, you have to take your character and take some other character. Maybe it's Paris and Hector, or Hector and Achilles, or Agamemnon and Menelaus, or whatever, right? And write down, and use bullet point these, key ways in which they're similar and key ways in which they're different. If you're doing like Hector and Achilles, right? Hector is Trojan, Achilles is Greek. That's a key difference. Mortal mother and father, goddess mother, mortal father. Gods don't really answer his prayers. Has direct connection with Zeus, right? Those are the types of things you're wanting to be putting in here. We move to circumstance. Well, to kind of briefly list out these answers to these questions. What situation is your character in regarding the following? Situation in life, right? Are they a king? Are they a warrior? Are they old? Are they young? Are they married? Those types of things. Physical location. Are they in Troy? Are they on the battlefield? Are they in among the ships? That type of thing. And this might be something that changes. Primarily, if you're doing Patroclus, right? Primarily in the ships until at the very end when he's not. Mental space, right? Like, where are they at mentally? Are they in a good space, or are they in a space that's kind of maybe not so good? Are they positive or negative? Are they somebody who works well with others or doesn't? That type of thing. Are they overly proud and arrogant, or are they um, reasonable in their understanding of their abilities? Relationship with the gods, right? How do they relate to the gods? The gods care about them or not care about them? That matters. And then relationship with other major human characters. Who are the other major human characters that they have in their life, and how do those people interact with them? Okay? And then you ask, which of these above is most important in shaping your character's decision making at key moments in the story? That is, which one of these is most important for understanding why your character does what they do, and write that out and why you think that's true. Then moving on to relationship. What are one of the two most important relationships your character has? How do you know? How do they shape your understanding of the character? You don't have to answer all those questions, or you can answer in a different way, but the goal here is put your character's name in here and then do something with it. Maybe it's like drawing off webs. Like if you're doing Hector, it'd be like, you've got the people of Troy over here, who are represented by, you know, um, just people of Troy. Then over here you got like his family, right? You got Priam and Andromache and Hecuba, the Paris and all that kind of thing. You got like as a warrior, who does he interact with? Aeneas, and Sarpedon, and um, Polydamas, and that type of thing. Do something with this to show how your character is related to other things. Then when you get down here, write down the two ancient Greek values or concerns that you're going to be focusing on here. So we looked at a bunch of them back at the beginning of the book. So you might go back to that kind of the PowerPoint slide from the first day where we talked about some of the key values and ideas for the ancient world. Write those down. Give a definition. Again, make it a working definition, something you're working with, and then a few passages, just like you did earlier, where this value is expressed or involved your character and how it shows it. This is all bullet pointing. And same thing here for your second one. All right, so that's through page 7. Then, after you've done that, then you want to come back to page 1 and ask yourself this question, right? Like, if I were to summarize my whole paper's idea in 1 or 2 sentences, how would I do it? So if somebody's asking you, what are you writing about? This is your sort of short answer to that question. Imagine you're in an elevator, our elevator here, let's say, riding from the first floor to the 3rd floor, and somebody asks you, what's your paper about? You have the time within that elevator to answer that question. This should be the only sentence in any of these things. Everything else should just be notes to help you think through what's going on. But there should be a lot of citations on these columns over here and that type of thing to help you know where to find stuff in the book. You do not want it to be the night before the paper's due and you're frantically trying to find your citations that you've been writing about over these last few weeks. Okay? So again, remember, good papers begin with good thinking. This is true of everything that you do when it comes to communication, whether it's writing or speaking. You have to think first, then you can move forward with other things. But on Wednesday, I'm going to take these up, or at least check them, for a grade. So you need to be done with pages 1 through 7 for Wednesday's class.